Few characters in the Pokemon franchise are as impactful as Mewtwo. Created as a clone of Mew and treated like property by Giovanni, his journey from a weapon of destruction to a protector of life is one of the most compelling arcs in the series. Across numerous appearances, Mewtwo forged a destiny beyond what was intended for him. Hi, I'm Professor Silver, and today I'll explore Mewtwo's evolution from villain to hero. To fully convey his story, I'll detail his pursuit of freedom, purpose, equality, and self-worth. This video is brought to you by Vessi. If there's any shoe worthy of legendary status, it's Vessi. Honestly, I love their shoes. I'm hyped to talk about them each week because they're the shoes I actually wear daily. I don't just endorse them, I live in them. Vessi has everything I want in a shoe. Each pair is waterproof, comfortable, and extremely stylish. Mewtwo may rule the battlefield, but the Vessi weekend sneaker leads the way in my everyday life. Whether I'm walking the dog or running through errands, they keep up with everything I throw at them. They're lightweight, durable, and sharp enough to be worn on almost any occasion. They basically go with every outfit. Business casual? Nailed it. Date night? Rockin' it. Casual day out? Perfect fit. Even when I'm chasing my dogs, they still hold up seamlessly. And if you play Pokemon Go, Vessis are perfect for hatching eggs. Since they're waterproof, you can walk in any weather. So no matter what life throws at you, rain, shine, or a busy day, the Vessi weekend sneaker is ready for it. I highly recommend you get a pair for yourself. Head to vessi.com/silver and use code SILVER for 15% off your first pair at checkout. Trust me, your feet will thank you. And now back to today's video. Mewtwo's story begins not with Mewtwo Strikes Back, but rather with the birth of Mewtwo, a prologue originally included in the film's Japanese release. The special portrayed him as a tragic soul defined by loss before he even lived. He was created from a sample of Mew's DNA by Dr. Fuji under Giovanni's funding. While Fuji hoped Mewtwo would unlock the secret of life itself and help bring back his late daughter Amber, Giovanni just wanted the ultimate weapon. From the moment he was born, Mewtwo was seen as a tool, not a living being with thoughts or desires. Despite his isolation, Mewtwo formed deep bonds with the clones of Amber and the Kanto starters. Within their telepathic worldscape, Amber 2 introduced him to kindness and the beauty of the world beyond the lab. Tragically, their connection was severed when Amber 2 and the other clones perished because their bodies weren't able to sustain life like Mewtwo's could. Mewtwo nearly destroyed the lab in his grief, so Fuji was forced to erase his memories to pacify him. Due to the memory-wiping serum, Mewtwo mostly forgot Amber 2 and her morality lessons. All that remained within him was a sense of loss and confusion. Mewtwo's journey took a dramatic turn upon awakening in Mewtwo Strikes Back. Though he initially had no understanding of his identity, his telepathic powers allowed him to learn that he was a clone of Mew. The revelation shook him to his core, but the deeper pain came from his inability to understand his purpose. When Fuji implied he was created for experimentation, Mewtwo violently rejected his fate. He destroyed the lab that birthed him and killed all those within. Through this destruction, Mewtwo asserted his independence in the only way he knew: violence. Regrettably, Mewtwo's freedom was short-lived. As the lab burned, Giovanni, the head of Team Rocket, entered the picture and convinced him that they should join forces. Giovanni took advantage of Mewtwo's hatred for humanity by promising him power, revenge, and world domination. What Mewtwo didn't realize was that Giovanni didn't see him as a partner. He was seen as nothing but a weapon to be controlled and used. Following their meeting, Giovanni equipped Mewtwo with power-limiting armor and forced him to battle powerful Pokemon like Tauros, Onix, Alakazam, Magneton, and Gary's Nidoking and Arcanine. Gary's battle featured in both the film and the episode The Battle of the Badge. Additionally, in the Birth of Mewtwo radio special, which wasn't dubbed into English, Mewtwo also battled Pokemon like Magmar using moves not seen in the anime, such as Hyper Beam, Swift, and Recover. Though Mewtwo believed the battles were meant to hone his abilities, the reality was much darker. Giovanni was merely using him as a pawn for his own gain, with no real concern for Mewtwo's well-being or growth. As Giovanni's treatment grew harsher, Mewtwo started to understand that he was nothing more than a tool in Giovanni's quest for power. When Mewtwo finally realized he had lost all control over his own life, he broke his restraints, obliterated Rocket HQ, and escaped to New Island. As shown in both the film and the episode The Showdown at the Poke Corral, he was determined to carve his own path, free from the man who sought to own him. Even though he was free, Mewtwo's resentment towards the world continued to grow. He resolved himself to purge the planet of all those who opposed him, human and Pokemon alike. While Mewtwo thought humans would destroy the world with their cruelty, he hated Pokemon for being complicit in their actions. In pursuit of his goals, Mewtwo built a palace, enslaved Nurse Joy, and perfected the tech that birthed him. From his stronghold, he could monitor the world and make clones with ease. Mewtwo wanted to prove the superiority of clones over the natural born, so he invited trainers from across Kanto to challenge him. While most were deterred by a killer storm, Ash, Brock, Misty, Nisha, Fergus, Corey, and even Team Rocket pressed on. Upon arrival, they were shocked to learn their host was a Pokemon. Mewtwo responded to their affront by effortlessly neutralizing Fergus's Gyarados, Corey's Rhyhorn, and Ash's Charizard. To further demonstrate his strength, Mewtwo challenged the trainers to battle. Using clones of Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard, he defeated Corey's Brute Root, Nisha's Shell Shocker, and Ash's Charizard. After the display of force, Mewtwo captured and cloned all the visiting trainers' Pokemon, including those that didn't battle. In the English dub, Mewtwo created the clones to replace natural Pokemon and rule the world, while in the original Japanese, they were meant to prove they had the same worth as the originals. Just as Mewtwo was about to unleash his clones, Ash freed the natural Pokemon and led them into battle. Though Mewtwo tried to kill him in retaliation, Mew randomly arrived to save him. As Mewtwo fought Mew, their clones battled their progenitors in brutal, merciless combat. By defeating Mew, Mewtwo believed he could prove himself as the world's strongest Pokemon. In Mewtwo's mind, surpassing Mew would allow him to define his destiny and assert his dominion. However, Mewtwo's resolve wavered when Ash tried to stop all the fighting and was tragically turned to stone. The sight of his lifeless body stunned Mewtwo. In that moment, the legendary psychic type witnessed something he had never thought possible: a human who cared for all life regardless of its origin. Seeing human, Pokemon, and clone alike all weep for Ash revealed a genuine emotional bond that Mewtwo previously thought preposterous. Ash was revived by the Pokemon and clone's tears, but the experience profoundly changed Mewtwo. He realized that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. Instead, it's what you do with your life that determines your worth. All life, even that of a clone, has meaning. This epiphany shifted Mewtwo's perspective, making him feel that hiding from humans was safer than fighting them. Although he recognized the potential for goodness in humanity, he erased his guests' memories as he didn't trust them with the secret of his clones. In the end, Mewtwo chose to leave with his clones to find a place free from judgment and conflict. In Mewtwo Returns, it's revealed they found refuge in Purity Canyon, a secluded refuge atop Johto's Mount Kina. Because Mewtwo saw himself and his clones as outcasts, he believed hiding was the only way to escape hatred. His new goal in life was to protect his fellow clones and shield them from the world's troubles. Despite his desire to stay hidden, Mewtwo couldn't ignore the suffering of others. Early on in Mewtwo Returns, he saved a bus full of people from plummeting off a cliff. Though he claimed his actions were driven by a need to avoid attention, Meowth's clone, Meowth 2, believed he acted out of genuine compassion. Alongside Pikachu's clone, Pikachu 2, Meowth 2 was committed to helping Mewtwo understand that the world was as much theirs as it was natural-born Pokemon's. Ultimately, Mewtwo's growing morality highlighted his focus on preservation. Sadly, his peace didn't last long. Giovanni, who had never been mind-wiped, tracked him to Purity Canyon so as to recapture him. Coincidentally, Ash and his friends happened upon the canyon at the same exact time. When Giovanni attacked their home, it was Pikachu 2, not Mewtwo, who led the clones in defense. While Mewtwo wanted to avoid a battle altogether and find a new home, Pikachu 2 chose to stand his ground and fight for his right to exist. Mewtwo could have stopped Pikachu 2 to protect him, but he decided to respect his freedom to choose his own destiny. Even though intervention would have offered safety, he wanted the clones to control their own future. It was only after Pikachu 2 and his army were defeated that Mewtwo finally stepped in. He briefly overpowered Giovanni's technology, but eventually surrendered, believing it was the only way to protect his friends. Despite heavy damage from Giovanni, Mewtwo endured long enough for the Mountain's bug types, who were angered by the destruction of their home, to thwart Team Rocket's plan and give the clones a chance to escape. Ash, who had also been captured, helped Mewtwo break free. Freedom was bittersweet for Mewtwo, as he had exhausted all his energy resisting Giovanni. As he was near death, Ash took him to a nearby mountain spring with healing powers similar to a full restore. Ash's selflessness reminded Mewtwo that helping others doesn't require a reason. Being healed by the water like any normal Pokemon would showed him that he was just as worthy of life as any Pokemon. With his power restored, Mewtwo banished Giovanni from his home and moved the lake underground to keep secret its healing properties. He erased Team Rocket's memory of him and the clones, ensuring they would never again be hunted. Thanks to the Mind Wipe, Giovanni was never again a concern for Mewtwo. The genetic Pokemon allowed Ash and his friends to remember him, as they helped him realize that a person's history is part of their identity. Mewtwo realized that he couldn't blame all humans for his hardship. He chose to let go of hate, believing that true evil lies in those who use the past to divide and oppress. To paraphrase his words, "One shame is theirs alone." At the end of the special, Mewtwo let the clones seek new homes and forge their own futures free from his guidance. With Team Rocket out of the picture, the clones could live independently as Pikachu 2 had wished. Although Mewtwo was seen without them in future appearances, I imagine he still considers them to be his closest family. For many years after Mewtwo Returns, Mewtwo only appeared in brief cameos across anime openings and feature films. In his appearances, he could often be seen observing humanity from the shadows, always watching and questioning, yet no longer burdened by his past. During Mewtwo's absence, two others like him emerged. In the mastermind of Mirage Pokemon, Dr. Young produced a Mirage Mewtwo who lacked self-awareness. Instead of a clone searching for identity, it operated as a tool, obeying orders without question. By contrast, in Genesect and The Legend Awakened, another Mewtwo appeared, one whose origins largely mirrored that of Mewtwo's. Like Mewtwo, she was created by scientists and hunted by evil forces that wished to harness her power. Unlike her predecessor, however, she lacked his existential crisis and initial hatred for humanity. She also had a feminine voice and the ability to Mega Evolve into Mega Mewtwo Y. Regrettably, Mewtwo's reaction to her existence remains unknown. That she had a different personality than him speaks to the power of free will and for the ability of all sentient beings to carve their own path in life. Rather than return in the black and white film, Mewtwo returned in the Journeys episode, getting more than you battled for. His return was an unexpected yet significant continuation of his story. Unlike in previous appearances, he was fully self-actualized. Mewtwo didn't struggle with identity or purpose. He was calm, composed, and sage-like. His new mission was to protect and care for abused Pokemon, regardless of whether they were natural or clone-born. Ash and Go discovered him on Sero Island after mistaking his energy signature for Mew's. In spite of their lack of invitation, Mewtwo still welcomed them. After he listened to their respective goals of catching all Pokemon and becoming a Pokemon Master, he agreed to battle. Although Pikachu, Lucario, and Cinderace all fought valiantly, Mewtwo easily defeated them using Shadow Ball. To me, this proved he was still the world's strongest Pokemon. Following the epic battle, Mewtwo teleported Ash and Go to Cerise's lab, wishing them luck on their journey. All in all, Mewtwo's Journey's return was more than just fan service. It facilitated crucial growth for Go and Ash, and by extension, Mewtwo himself. Although Go failed to catch Mewtwo like he intended, he used the clone's energy signature to find Mew on Faraway Island. For Ash, Mewtwo's return highlighted the profound impact he's had on others. Mewtwo's transformation into a protector of Pokemon was heavily shaped by Ash's influence. Their interaction reinforced that Ash's greatest power isn't his battling abilities, but rather his ability to positively change lives of all those he meets. Later on in Journeys, and this could be the start of something big, Mewtwo appeared one last time. He was shown ferrying abused Pokemon to safety as Ash rode atop Lugia. It's unknown what lies next for Mewtwo's future, but it's clear his journey is far from over. In terms of sheer power, Mewtwo is the single most formidable Pokemon in the anime. Throughout the series, he beat unique Pokemon like Tauros, Onix, Alakazam, Magneton, Gary's Nidoking, Gary's Arcanine, Fergus's Gyarados, Tori's Rhyhorn, Ash's Pikachu, Ash's Lucario, and Go's Cinderace. His vast psychic abilities, combined with powerful moves like Barrier, Counter, Psychic, and Shadow Ball, cement his status as a nearly unstoppable force. Yet, what makes Mewtwo truly remarkable isn't his wins or strength, it's his transformation from a bitter villain into one of the series' greatest heroes. Mewtwo was created as an experiment, but through pain, loss, and reflection, he forged his own destiny. His journey underscores how one's worth isn't defined by their origins, but rather by their choices. This belief that individuals should be judged by their actions rather than their birth serves as an allegory for real-life struggles with identity and purpose. Ultimately, Mewtwo's story of self-discovery and redemption proves that true strength lies in growth, understanding, and the courage to rise above one's past. You and I may not be able to develop psychic powers like him, but I think everyone can benefit from his example to look within and find a path that best suits what you want to strive towards in life. On that, class is adjourned. I want to give a big thanks to Vessi for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to get a pair of their shoes for yourself at 15% off using the first link in the description or by entering my code SILVER at checkout. I'm Professor Silver. Until next time, catch you later.